Good morning, everyone. My name is Nayaswami Padma, and I'm here today to share with you some of the original writings and teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda. And this morning, I would actually like to begin taking some quotations out of this book called The Path. It is the autobiography of Swami Kriyananda, Ananda's founder and Yogananda's direct disciple. And in the first half, approximately, of this book, he tells the story about his own search and what led him to first despair and then eventually finding the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda and Yogananda himself, and going immediately, as soon as he learned about him, across the country to meet him and to ask to be his disciple, a concept that was incredibly new to him at the time. He was 22 years old. It was 1948. And so the second half of this book is about the years he spent living with the great Master Yogananda, and he tells hundreds of stories of his time with him and the things he learned from him during that time. So this morning, I wanted to start with this quotation. He says, my first evening at Mount Washington, Reverend Bernard visited me in my room. Master wants me to give you instruction in the art of meditation, he said. He taught me an ancient yoga technique of concentration and added some general counsel. When you aren't practicing this concentration technique, at the point between the eyebrows. And then he goes on to say, or Kriyananda responds, would it help if I asked him, if I kept my mind focused there all day long? Very much, Reverend Bernard responded. When Master lived in his guru's ashram, he practiced keeping his mind fixed there all the time. And this seemingly little teaching is an all-encompassing grand teaching, because, there are so many reasons why, but let me begin by saying, and I only have time for one or two this morning, that Western science understands, or I shouldn't call it Western any longer, general science understands that the frontal lobe of the brain is that area where all altruistic or all hopeful thought originates, where goodness, good thoughts, good actions originate. And so by keeping our attention focused there, we are keeping our attention on the positive pole of our consciousness. And it's very much proven in brain science these days. But there are other aspects. In the yogic teachings, we learn that the ego is seated at the medulla oblongata, which is the negative pole of that chakra. The highest chakra is, of course, the crown chakra. But in the teachings of yoga, we help guide the energy. We magnetize the energy to this positive pole of this chakra. And then from the spiritual eye, once enlightenment is reached, the energy naturally travels to the highest center. And so concentrating on this, the highest of centers that we can magnetize towards and concentrate to, is incredibly important. And it's something we do in all of Yogananda's meditation techniques. And he has a number of them. But in addition to that, he teaches us, as is shared here in this book, to concentrate there during the day, anytime that we remember to. And, you know, that's a little bit like saying, well, I want to be in God remembrance all the time. If we were, we wouldn't be here having this conversation and this virtual little presentation for you, the noon inspirations, because we'd be liberated and we would have transcended this material world altogether. So by the very nature, by the very fact that we are here, means we're still working on releasing these outer layers of misunderstanding until we become transparent and clear. And so, yes, we forget to be in God remembrance all the time, to keep our energy focused at this point. But the more we remember to do that throughout the day, the more we find that when we sit to meditate morning and evening, or anytime we sit to meditate, that the energy gathers there at that point more quickly, more naturally, more easily, and we find ourselves in a state of intuition, of higher consciousness, more and more of the time. So it's a wonderful practice. Try it. Try it for an hour or two, or a day or two, and see if it doesn't inspire you and affect you in very positive ways spiritually. Joy to you, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Blessings. Bye-bye now.